Moby Dick. Ishmael, the narrator, announces that he plans on boarding a whaling vessel. This will be his first time whaling. He travels to New Bedford, Massachusetts, where he stays at a whaler's inn, sharing a bed with a harpooner named Queequeg. Although hesitant, Ishmael begins to like Queequeg, and they plan to sail together. They take a ferry to Nantucket and get work on the Pequod, an older ship filled with the remnants of sperm whales. Peleg and Bildad, the Quaker owners of the boat, mention the mysterious Captain Ahab is still recovering from losing his leg from a sperm whale encounter on the last voyage. They set sail on a cold Christmas day with a crew of men from different countries and races. As they enter warmer waters, Ahab finally comes out to address the crew. He stands wobbly on his peg leg made from a sperm whale jaw and announces his intentions of killing Moby Dick, the legendary great white whale who took his leg. The boat approaches the southern tip of Africa and unsuccessfully hunts a number of whales. As they settle into the waters of southern Africa, a group of men unseen before emerges from the depths of the ship. A group of hidden harpooners, led by Fedallah, that Ahab has stowed away to help with the mission of killing Moby Dick against the boat owner's orders. The group has special talents, and Fedallah is known as somewhat of a prophetic. Ahab hopes they are the key to finding and killing Moby Dick. The boat begins to circle the tip of Africa, and they encounter other whaling vessels. Ahab stops them and demands information about Moby Dick. Eventually, they come across a ship carrying crazed prophet Gabriel, who tells them anyone who threatens Moby Dick will be doomed. The crew begin to believe the prophecy when crew member Teshtego falls overboard while handling a whale. However, Queequeg dove into the ocean and saved him. Later, the crew comes across a ship, the Enderby, which is led by Captain Boomer. Boomer has lost his arm to Moby Dick, and the two discuss the whale. Boomer is happy to be alive and cannot understand Ahab's thirst for revenge. Later, Queequeg falls ill, and they make him a coffin, anticipating his death. However, when he recovers, they use the coffin as a life buoy. They continue on, and Ahab orders a new harpoon be made in preparation for Moby Dick. He baptizes the harpoon with the blood of 3 of the harpooners on the ship. As they continue to have successful hunts, Fedallah issues a prophecy to Ahab about his death. He says he will see 2 hearses and be killed by hemp rope. Ahab now believes he will not die at sea because there are no hearses or hangings at sea. A typhoon hits the boat. Ahab sees it as a sign they are getting closer to Moby Dick. However, Starbuck, the ship's first mate, takes it as a bad omen and thinks about killing Ahab to end the insane hunt. After the storm ends, a sailor falls from the masthead and drowns. Ahab's desire and intensity for Moby Dick grows stronger as the boat approaches the equator, where he believes he will find the whale. They eventually come across 2 separate boats, the Rachel and the Delight, who have recently encountered Moby Dick. Some time passes, but then, just as Ahab had predicted, he sights him, Moby Dick. Ahab alerts the group and launches the harpoon boats, but Moby Dick attacks Ahab's boat and destroys it. Ahab, back on the ship, regroups. The next day, they again get Moby Dick in their sights, and Ahab demands the crew to lower the harpoon boats into the water. They harpoon the whale, but Moby Dick again destroys Ahab's boat, and Fedallah drowns in the chaos. But Starbuck maneuvers the Pequod between Ahab and the angry whale to stop him from killing the stranded Ahab. The next day, the crew again gears up for the hunt, and the boats are lowered into the water. Moby Dick again attacks them. This time, Moby Dick attacks the Pequod and is able to sink it. Ahab is caught in the harpoon line and is hurled from the boat to his death. As the main ship sinks, it creates a vortex, sinking the rest of the ships and killing all the crew except Ishmael, who sits floating on top of Queequeg's coffin, and he is eventually picked up by the Rachel.